What up, Bears fans? It's your boy Coach T with Chicago Bears 360. Back with another live video. A surprise live for y'all tonight. Of course, I'm not the only one with surprises. We're talking about Roquan Smith trade. We're going to talk about the Bears' performance yesterday at Dallas, testing out some equipment. So I thought I'd get into it tonight since we out here anyway. Take advantage of the time. So y'all stand by. Let's jump into it. Y'all know what's next. Cue the intro. Maestro, let's go.
Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence. On the road to them Benjis, I fill my teeth with diamonds. I'm high as fuck in the sky, you would've thought I'm pilot. I'm from Chicago, it get ugly, fill the streets with violence. Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence.
Past, present, future. We bear down.
All right, man. Listen, we're back. It's your boy Coach T with Chicago Bears 360. Roquan Smith. Ryan Poles does it again. Right? I think we would be probably being dishonest if we said that anybody was 100% sold on Ryan Poles having a fire sale before the trade deadline. I think with Roquan, I was expecting a miracle, right? We knew about all the pre-season, off-season contract negotiation, the challenges that was having, all the antics by Roquan. But Roquan was, by large part, a beloved character in that locker room and amongst Bears fans, right? And we can get into the conversation about $20 million. Is Roquan's worth $20 million and all that other stuff. I think we did a great job of it, kind of exhausting that conversation when the negotiations were going on, right? Do I think Roquan was worth 20 plus million? That's debatable. That's debatable. I don't really think when you're building a new team, we're starting over. Arguments can be made either way, right? You build a new team. You got arguably your starting QB of the future, QB1, in Justin Fields. But also can be said about great teams is you have a good quarterback of your defense, right? So I thought there was hopes. I held out a little bit of hope that possibly with Roquan being 25 years old, only 25 years old, he would be the quarterback of that defense of the future. And Justin Fields would obviously be QB1 and lead the team from the offensive side of the ball. So nonetheless, Roquan is gone. Going to the Ravens for a second and a fifth. Ryan Poles does it again. Over 134 million plus cap space towards next year. He gets a second, a fifth, and a linebacker. KJ. Why am I having an old man moment right here? Why am I having old man moment here live on camera? So, by the way, man, we getting into it. We getting into it here and also on Spaces Live while I look this up. I'm just having the Spaces to invite everybody to the YouTube.
Yo, Coach C.
My man coming through on the speaker. We live on YouTube, bro. Jump on over to the YouTube. Hopefully, and we can get you in the chat.
They traded him that soon like that.
Oh, yeah. Jump on over to the YouTube. Help we get you over there. All right. I'm gonna put the catch the leak on my page. Join us on YouTube so we can talk this through. All right. So listen, the 2nd and 5th, I'll figure out that linebacker's name later on. I'm having no name on, but nonetheless, if you have to ask me, pin me to hold me hostage, and ask me, am I okay with this trade? I have to say, yeah. I think it's part of the plan from the beginning. Build through the draft. Ryan Poles has established his MO as somebody that is going to be stick to his guns. He's going to build through the draft. What we might not be talking about with this whole trade scenario is this. Right now we have what? A first, 2 seconds, a third, a 4th, 5th, and I think we have 1 7th and 2 6th, right? It's quite a lot of picks. But Ryan's MO is trade down and gather more picks. So we got, I think, out of 4 picks last year, we ended up with 11 players. Imagine what he can do with more leverage if that's his game plan going into next season. So I'm not upset with the trade at all because this is what we're going to. Justin is flashing, right? I said it on another show. I said, listen, weeks 8 to 12, watch out. Definitely Swift. I see you. Weeks 8 to 12, potential might have a potential to flash up in there and see some flashes from this offense. Remember, man, this is not saying like football. Offensive football is really hard. But offensive football is really hard. It's difficult, right? And offenses across the league are struggling. Across the league. I lost my audio here. Hey, a lot of moving parts on the show. I know y'all can hear me, but now I can't hear myself on the feedback, which leads me to believe I'm going to probably have some troubles hearing Swift when he comes on. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I know I can hear you guys, or you can hear me because I see the meter running, but we're going to talk. I'm just going to monologue here for a minute. So we got our guy coming. We got our guy flashing, the offense taking off. More importantly, I think Luke Getsy is starting to grow as an offensive coordinator. He's starting to understand his players and what he can get away with on offense, right? He understands the limitations of this offensive line, where he can block 5-man protections, where he needs to go 60 and 70-man protection to give Justin a little bit more time. And then more importantly, how to execute that, whether he uses play action pass, right? Or, you know what I'm saying, if he used some kind of different nuance of pass protection to make sure we're shoring up the pass protection. I thought the pass protection in this past week's game, yesterday's game, was a lot better. I think in some places the pass protection held up better than the run protection. So your quarterback's starting to grow, your offense is starting to go, and then okay, I have somebody I can build around. I know at some point I'm going to have to give QB1 the bag. You know what I'm saying? Based off of play so far this season, I'm not so sure that this staff believes that Roquan is that dude for this system, whether he's a systems fit. Now, I can tell you I watched the tape. I watched a lot of defensive tape. Matter of fact, I have some clips today I may or may not show. But I think we can't put all of Roquan's play necessarily in this defense on Roquan. Allen Williams is doing a lot of stuff with that defensive line because I believe he understands that he doesn't have the best defensive line, right? These guys are average to good at best, right? So he's doing a lot of pinching, a lot of slanting, a lot of stunting to create penetration, whereas in other situations, you would have a guy you can just line up and play ball. he's having to get creative with that defensive line and slant them. And what I was saying before, I think a lot of people don't realize, if you don't understand X's and O's football, when you're slanting defensive linemen and stuff, what you're doing is you're shifting the gap responsibility. So instead of you just lining up and playing ball on the defensive line, what's happening is if you slant the defensive line, then it kind of pushes back everybody's gap responsibilities. And if you don't have the repetitions at doing that, right, if you don't have the practice and experience in doing that, it throws people's off. So I don't think we can go all out and say this trade is because Roquan was playing bad or this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? Dude wasn't terrible in any of the previous seasons. All of a sudden, when his contract on the line is, all of a sudden he wants to be bad. I don't believe that. The film shows that Alan Williams, in certain spaces, he gets besides himself and he starts doing too much. And I thought that was on display yesterday in the Dallas game. I felt like he did a terrible job of game planning for this game versus Dallas. He had a terrible game plan from the beginning, right? The slants, again, with the slants and the pinches and the stunts, all that stuff, he got caught with his pants down. And I think what Dallas did, I tweeted this earlier, what Dallas did was Dallas went and looked at the Green Bay tape, because a lot of the plays that I saw versus Green Bay, I saw those same concepts, gap power concepts I'm always talking about, that I liked when Luke Getsy runs, mixed in with some zone, outside zone duos. He basically Dallas out-used us, right? They did a better job of executing our run offense than we did. And Alan Williams got caught with his pants down. And I'm gonna probably do a Coach T's playbook, and I'm gonna show you how you stop a lot of gap power concepts, and you don't do it with slants, right? Doing it with slants is kind of a rookie move for a coach. You can catch people with slants to stop gap power concepts. You can catch people with slants, or slants could be a great adjustment for your defensive line for spread concepts to, cut them off at the pass. But if you get somebody out of their gap, one person opens the gate, as I call it. That's when you're playing with, instead of you playing with your pad level or your pads parallel to the line of scrimmage, you start opening the gate and you start playing with your pads facing the sidelines. That's when you open the gate and allow rushers to pick a hole. And I saw way too much of that. I actually watched every run play from yesterday's game, and way too many opening of the gates happened with this team on yesterday. And so, it was just too much, man. It was just too much. And I think Allen's doing way too much, or he got caught doing way too much in this game and the Green Bay game. And he has to fix that. He has to fix that. So real fast, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Real fast before I get into y'all comments, let's I tell you what I'll real quickly do. Let's give a quick shout out to our field soldiers, man. I ain't had a chance to, do a whole lot of live lately, but I want to give a quick shout out to you guys. That's all 2,800 of you guys that have subscribed to the channel over the last 6 or 7, or probably about 9, 10 months now, right? All of the people that have subscribed to the channel, thank you for your support. Doesn't go unnoticed. This a lot of work goes into, these things. So shout out to the field soldiers. There's the graphic I was looking for. Again, when you produce your own show, man, it's just sometimes crazy, bro. It takes time. Anyway, so the way you stop what Dallas did to us, teams like Dallas and Green Bay, and trust me, it's on film now. Other teams are going to repeat that. The way you stop that is penetration, right? You got to get penetration. And I was waiting to see during the game when was Allen Williams going to dial up some A-gap blitz, some double A-gap blitz, some A-gap blitz. If you put people either in the A-gap or you do a bear front where you line up a nose tackle directly on the center and you push the center back into the backfield and create some disruption, you can't pull guards and tackles on counters and powers behind the center. So if you take the center and shove them in the backfield, it's hard for you to pull tackles and guards behind the center. And Dallas was doing way too much of that yesterday. It was stealing. They were taking. Now you couple that with Allen Williams calling slants, right? And players, because they're trying to chase down their gap, they opening the gate by turning their shoulders to the sidelines. It creates lanes for runners to run through. Same thing happened in the Green Bay game. And so he has to fix that up, right? So, again, my soapbox moment is I'm not putting it all on Roquan. I don't think Roquan's a bad football player. I'm almost willing to bet a paycheck that he's going to go to the Ravens and he's going to look like the Roquan of old. He's going to ball out, probably make the Pro Bowl. Watch this, the irony. Make the Pro Bowl, I think, for the first time ever. And get snubbed like the last 2 or 3 times. Might be a second time making it, right? So, yeah. But I think it's a win-win. Ravens get a guy, potentially put them over the edge defensively, take them to the big game. The Bears get draft capital. Of course, a non-player necessarily in a pay trade, a special teams guy, and we get to build the team of the future with $134 million plus salary cap, and a quarterback that seems to be in tune with his offensive coordinator and growing. Like I said earlier on Twitter, the Justin Fields 250-plus yard game loading, right? So that's my take on that. I'm going to get to the comments real fast. I got some technical difficulties going on here right fast, but let me fix this up, see if I can fix this up and get to y'all comments real fast. I got 1 second. All right. All right, let's see if my graph is going to work today. I'm going to get to the DM section. We're going to get back at y'all. All right, let's see what y'all talking about in the comment section. Somebody said, who's that talking to me? Man, let me look at this on my phone. Oh, boy. That's what happened when you're doing too much. Hey, Box said, listen. Box said basically the Ravens traded a second and a fifth to Roquan for 9 games. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think, you know what I'm saying? I don't think, you think about, okay, you can say the 9 games and the playoff run. You know what I'm saying? If he fits that system, he can come in and actually have a good effect on that team and put them over the edge defensively, right? The Ravens like to play old school football anyway. I mean, Lamar's going to get his stuff off, but they're going to really need a good, solid defense to hold teams back from running crazy on them, particularly the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs, right? So, and you're going to need a speed or fast linebacker that can cover. And I think, Roquan can fit the bill for that. Let's see. Who else we got in here? We in the comment sections. The comment going crazy. Hey, Jay Capone said the D-line got to be more physical and penetrate the backfield. Yeah, I mean, so let's start with the basics of it, right? Do we have interior defensive linemen that's that dude, right? Off the rip. I think Justin Jones has been pretty good this season so far, but a traditional 3-tech technique, has he been like disruptive? Has he taken over games? He's yet to show us that, right? So again, when you're a defensive coordinator and the expectation is your 3 technique, your interior defensive linemen be disruptors, you start having to get creative, and you start with that first level of the D line, and that's when you start with your stunts and your slants and your pinches and stuff like that, because you're trying to create a manufacture disruption. What I saw on the tape in all the defensive run plays, I saw a lot of that stuff instead of, all right, my defensive lineman not getting there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it to the second level, and I'm going to rely on my linebackers to create that penetration. So that's when you start getting into your A-gap blitzes, right? Your double A-gap looks, right? Where you either line up in the A-gaps and come, or you line 2 gaps up in the double A-gap looks and you fake the blitz and you have them drop into coverage to get the defensive or offensive coordinator thinking, get the quarterback thinking too much, to get them out of what they are liking to do or what they like to do. I just think Kellen Moore was way too comfortable as offensive coordinator yesterday. Dak was out there pretty much running scrimmage, right? And we never got there. So kind of like Luke Getsy, I'm putting this on Allen Williams. Yeah, the defensive line could play better. Dominique Robinson had a horrible day yesterday, by the way, according to the film. And, it was like that. Jake Capone said, chat with y'all. What do y'all think about Tremont Edmonds, free agent this offseason? I'm not real familiar with him, but if Swift joins us here in a bit, I'll see what he has to say about that. Bear down. Valhalla says, OH, thank you for the breakdowns. I appreciate you, man. Pop, you should be the coach. Man, Pop, you know what? I'm actually working on some stuff. Actually working on getting back to the sidelines myself. That's why I've been away, actually, from Bears Twitter a little bit and working hard. But coach the Bears, that's a reach. That's a stretch. I might be able to, in my retirement, make my way back to the high school ranks, perhaps. At some point, maybe coach some collegiate football. But right now, man, I got too many mouths to feed. R&R's on here. Scuttlebutt says ATL's interested in Monty. Have you heard anything such locally? I'm actually wait on Swift to see if he comes on, see what he has to say about that. But I'll keep my ear to the ground about that. So I got a question for the chat, right? Because this kind of fire sale was a surprise to all of us. But how do we feel going forward about other pieces? I know David Montgomery came up earlier, right? I know Eddie Jackson came up earlier in conversation, right? The only thing I would say about trading Monty at this point is Monty is our best pass blocking running back. If Treston Ebner was playing better or blocking better in pass pro and Khalil Herbert were blocking better, I believe Treston Ebner could be a good complementary back and fill in the gap with enough reps. But I just don't trust leaving those guys that haven't shown you they can block back there to get your quarterback killed, because our running backs are very much a part of our pass protection plan, right? Cole Kmet, our tight ends and our running backs have a lot to do with our pass protection plan. So the offense is showing growth. They're showing progress. I wouldn't interrupt that right now. Whether or not we sign Demo to a long-term deal, I don't know. I wouldn't, I wouldn't overpay him. But I would see if you could get something done, right? I would see if his asking price was within reason. He's a character guy, locker room guy. Good for the city. I would see if you can get something done and get Demo back here. But I wouldn't overpay. Same with Roquan. And here's the thing. With as many picks as we have, you can get a guy. You can get a running back, out of the draft that can come in and be effective probably in his first year. But we have a guy waiting, again, in Treston Ebner, who's a big physical back that if you actually get him some carries, he has the speed to be a home run hitter, and he's big enough to, get you tough yards in the run game. We just haven't seen enough of them. But I guess we'll get our answer here in the next 24 to 48 hours. Let's see. I see Peyton, but no 40 or 28. I'm not following the comment there. Pop said, Roquan about to ball out. I agree, man. I'm his from Virginia Tech. I think he is a beast coming out of college. Actually, I want the Bears to draft Edmund. I don't see a whole lot of college football, man. I'll be honest with you. I watch Jackson State. I watch a little bit of Ole Miss because I'm a Lane Kiffin fan as far as his offense. I always try to steal stuff from Lane Kiffin. But I don't get the chance to see a lot of college football. Let's see here. Y'all's comments in the chat are actually coming up quicker than on my phone for some reason. Oh, okay. He said he's looking who's coming out of the draft. So, you know what I'm saying? Here's the thing, right? And I know I said a lot about Allen Williams and his defense, but I want Bears fans to keep this in mind as well, right? I wouldn't go crazy on being too hard on Allen Williams because if, besides this week and Packers week, he's had a good season so far as a defensive coordinator. Again, Sunday was the first time he was really beat down like that, right? He was really just, he was outcoached. What's surprising to me is this. What's surprising is us having a defensive head coach and they weren't able to come together and find a solution. Now, I'm not big on conspiracy theories, but that's a little bit either concerning or suspect, right? It's hard for me to believe that between the two of them, Coach Eberflus and Allen Williams didn't know that, hey, I can put a linebacker in the gaps and go double A gap blitz or single A gap blitz and cause penetration and disrupt all that pulling and counter plays that Dallas was running. It's hard for me to believe that. My man Bach, let me see what you got going on here. Bach says, hey, Coach, what do you think about the Chiefs left tackle Orlando Brown, who's supposed to be a free agent this offseason? Listen, man, right? I'm good. Honestly, I'm good with Braxton Jones. I'm good with Braxton Jones, right? I don't think we should reach, right? Braxton Jones is a steal. Rookie, 5th rounder for Utah State comes in. He started. He's performed well. The sky is the limit for this kid. He can only come in and be better. I feel like he has an offseason of NFL strength and conditioning because he really didn't probably have the facilities for that and get that kind of training. At Utah State, he has a real good offseason in the weight room, and he maintains his level of agility. I feel like dude's going to be a problem. So I wouldn't go out and reach for a tackle. What you may have to do is you may have to look at right tackle. But I'm not going to be super hard on Larry Borum either, right? You have to finish out the remainder of the season and ask yourself, is Larry a fill-in guy, or could Larry be a tackle, right tackle of the future, right? We know Reef is getting older. We know we have Leatherwood, right? We have guys that can potentially compete at those positions, right? You don't have to reach for offensive linemen in the offseason. I don't think. I think you rack and stack your board, and you trust your board. You trust your ability to scout and find players, and you draft players at the right position. And somebody put this on Twitter earlier. They were like, hey, what do you think the biggest offseason concern, or what do you do in the offseason? O-line, wide receiver, running back. They put a number of positions. I don't think you approach it that way. I think Ryan does what he does. He racks and stacks his board. He builds through the draft, right? And if that means trading down to get players that are fits for cultural fits and fits for your system, then you go with that. I really trust this regime. I trust what Ryan is doing. We've never seen the likes of something like this, right? Somebody that's being patient. They have a philosophy. The philosophy is a football-led philosophy, not a player talent-led philosophy. It's about a system, and then drafting players and building or growing players within that system where they become good at that particular system. So I like that. And I think they just stick with what they're doing. And, they line their board up in the off season, and they go for it. And then, what we walk away from after the draft is what we have. And then you go into the next season, or you take some of that $134 million and say, okay, I wasn't able to address this through the draft. Again, take the same philosophy and say, hey, let me get a cultural fit first and a system fit, somebody that's character guy that's going to come in and work hard and set the example and be a bear, right? We talk a lot about Patriots, the New England way and New England culture and all that other stuff. You go get Chicago guys that fit your culture through the draft, or use that some of that $134 million and go get a guy that's get a Chicago guy. I think a lot of our fans get too caught up in the names, right? And I thought we were past that. Like, I thought we had enough time, even in the offseason, to realize that Ryan Post is not a name brand. I'm going to go sign a name brand guy type of dude. He's going to get a cultural fit, a locker room fit. Now, even that may have had some play into the Roquan situation. Not that Roquan is a trouble child or something, but how he handled the signing even may have impacted, him being traded away. But moving forward, Ryan, keep doing what you're doing, buddy. Stay the course. Stay the course. You found a rookie left tackle. You got two defenders, young rookie defenders that's starting, that's getting reps, meaningful reps, and they're growing in this defense. I don't see what the problem is. Bears fans are just going to have to learn how to be patient, bro. We can't get crazy. We can't get too crazy. And I know that's a lot to ask from Bears fans, right? But we can't get too crazy. We can't start, a lot of people that don't follow this team closely, they're on the go get Fields some help narratives. Well, newsflash, that's not going to happen in the form of signing big name free agents, overpriced free agents, guys with character problems, guys that have attitude problems, or guys that's going to come in and be prima donnas, right? Or wide receivers that's going to come in and he's not, I don't block. I didn't come here to block. I came here to catch footballs and get catches. Well, guess what? In a Luke Getsy system, if you're a wide receiver, you better be willing to block. I see Darnell Mooney out there at 175 pounds putting his body on the line to stand in front. I saw Darnell Mooney blocking a defensive end or outside linebacker on one play, right? We have to be real as Bears fans, as You know what I'm saying? Fans of Chicago and Chicago culture, a blue collar city, right? A cold weather city, a gritty city, right? A hard working city. Do we want, you know what I'm saying, the OBJs of the world? And not to disparage OBJs, but let's be real. OBJ or Odell Beckham Jr. is a hard worker, but he you know what I'm saying? He likes the limelight, right? No. Or are we gonna go get a guy that's gonna be a all work, let my work ethic, let my play do my talking for me type of guy, right? That's what we have to stay the course and be patient on. And I believe that's what this regime is going to do. I think they're going to ignore the fans, and they're going to do what's best for the Bears organization, as well as they're going to find system fits, guys that's coachable and trainable. And look how we started the season. Jalen Johnson. Oh yeah, you want to play games? Bet. Go run with the second team and come talk to me later. Right? They are not playing any games at all. So let me get back to the comment section while I'm on my soapbox moment. Shout out to my man Box. Let me see what R&R talking about. Bernard said he's salty about Roquan. I don't know what to tell you, my boy. He gone now. He gone. Your boy Ro is gone. Right? Swift said Eddie has 3 years left on his deal. I think what we can add about that about Eddie is Eddie is buying in. If you put on the tape of Eddie Jackson this year compared to the last 2 years, Eddie looks like a different player. And I'm not talking about because he has a benefit of playing alongside Jaquan Brisker. I'm saying because he's taking on the personal responsibility to be a leader of that defense, right? And mentor the young guys, but he's just not mentoring by talking. He's mentoring with his play. I've seen Eddie make more plays in the box in just 8 games this year than I think I've seen in the last 2 years. And that has a lot to do with coaching. As Swift says, coaching matters. And I, for one, am a big believer in that. Coaching matters. You set a standard and you hold players accountable to that standard. The standard is the standard. A loaf is a loaf, which I believe, by the way, we're going to see a lot handed out this week, right? A measurable goal. People laughed at the hits principle, and yeah, it was a joke yesterday, but it's a standard and it's measurable. And I can put it up on the board outside in the locker room, or I can post it up in every room, every meeting room, and I can put it in a place where all the players have to walk past it, and they're going to know where everybody on the team scored that week. Hell, I'll put it up on a PowerPoint slide. Peer pressure. We do that in corporate. A lot of times, hey, I'm trying to get this thing done, and if your team holding me up on a deliverable, something I got to deliver for the boss, no problem. I'm not going to keep asking you for this thing. I'm going to go to the big meeting, and I'm going to throw it up on the PowerPoint slide and say, yeah, we hadn't got that yet. We busted suspense date by, a week now. It's been over a week. I think I have one of those meetings in the morning, by the way. Yeah, they busted suspense date. I asked them for it 3 times. I followed up. The standard is the standard. That's it. You got to hold people accountable. All right. R&R is renewable and rechargeable, by the way. It should be 3 R's, by the way. Carter and Thomas are being groomed for G's. I take it that's guards. Don't rooks take a year to develop? As they say, Jones is just wow. Yeah, I like Carter. I don't know about Thomas so much, but I'm a big fan of Carter. I like his size. I like his raw tools and his physicality. I like to see what he becomes, right, going forward. Let me see, get some other people in here. We have been patient for a long time, but I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about fan patient, Bernard. I'm not talking about fan patient. I'm talking about football patient. I'm talking about fans going crazy at the beginning of the season because Justin Fields wasn't lighting it up for 500 yards starting out the season with a new offensive coordinator, new offensive line, new system, new language, new pass plays, like totally starting over, basically his rookie season, right? And I don't know. This perplexes me, bro. I don't know what. I try not to get crazy. I try not to get too crazy. What was y'all? I'm gonna go there because I'm finna have a rant moment a little bit. I try to control myself, but this is I'm allow myself to go there. What did y'all do in high school, bro? What was y'all doing? Did y'all play the game? Did y'all play the game? Like, did y'all play football? I always often, when I see certain tweets and stuff, I often wonder, have people actually ever played the game, or were they in the band or debate club in school? Because if you played this game outside of Madden and Tecmo Bowl, you understand that to build a football team, right, getting 11 people to do the same thing in concert with rhythm and timing to speak a language, a new language, all the same language, and to execute on that, right, in a off season, especially in a league where, hell, high school kids, middle school kids get more contact practices than we do out of our CBA now. 15 contact practices, one less preseason game. That's why the league has been sucking and scoring so far this year, because the CBA has affected the quality of play, especially on the offensive end. Somebody was saying today on TV that offensive football is taking a step back, where it used to be a line up and light them up type of league, throw the ball all over the yard. You know what I'm saying? High scoring. It's starting to pick up a little bit, but these first few weeks have been trash as far as passing the football. I've seen a lot of basic football that we were running 15, 20 years ago. Student body left, student body right, quick tosses, all that other stuff. That's because it's just not a lot to be had out there. Offenses are way behind. But my point is, a lot of times when I see people just going crazy, right, on Bears Twitter or whatever, I don't understand the mentality. I try to. I really do. I really do. I try to understand the mentality. But if you think you have an over 50% roster turnover in the National Football League, a new coach, a new GM, new players that don't know each other from Adam, that you just throw a product out on the field and you go hitting on all cylinders, then I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's unrealistic to me. That's why I went when I went on Barroom Network. I said this. I said, listen, let me break it down for y'all in a very simple way, right? A way that came to me that I thought would be a practical way of explaining. One offensive play in the NFL will give you about 6 different coverages. 20 plays, that's 120 different looks you have for 20 plays. If, as an offensive coordinator, I have 40 to 45 pass plays, and that's light. That's light. That's not even professional football. That's high school. 40 or 50 offensive plays in my pass plays in my playbook, right? But let's take it to the NFL. Let's say 40 pass plays that give you 6 different coverages And you're new to this. You're newly installing this on this football team. So you don't know with these particular players, if I run this particular route combination, how defenses are going to respond to that, right? How they going to align to that, how they're going to play it, how they're going to respond to it, what tricks they're going to have in the bag, so I'll know how to respond to it as both a play caller and a play on the field. 40 plays with 6 different licks is 240 different looks. 40 plays, 6 different coverages, 240 different plays. The reason why I said weeks 8 to 12 is because if you reverse engineer the math on that 240 plays, and we're averaging about 40 to 50 plays per game, gets you weeks 8 to 12, meaning Justin, the players, the wide receivers, the offensive line, the coordinator would have had enough reps to see how defenses would respond to the concepts he was trying to play. And then you can really start building your playbook, right? And players start reacting instinctively to coverages, right? Looks, shades, blitz packages. They start reacting out of muscle memory instead of saying, oh, well, Justin, I thought you was going to do this, so I did this. And they have to say they're on different pages. Whereas, okay, we have reps now. We have film. We went back and talked about it. And he said, no, when you see this coverage, or if they do this on a cover one match and we call this particular play, I'm expecting you to sit down in the zone and I'm going to file you there, so on and so forth. And that's what you're starting to see, right? 33 points last week, 29 points this week, right? Hopefully, and I believe he will. And by the way, this is encouraging, by the way, because one of the things I said going into Sunday's game for Luke Getsy, one of my keys to the game was that Luke Getsy will take the success of the past 7 weeks and build on that, because you don't totally reinvent your offense. What you do is you add little wrinkles here and there as a play caller. Well, I showed the last team this. I know my opponent saw that tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a wrinkle off of this. I'll give you an example. We showed jet sweep to Velus Jones. And then one week we came back and he called fake jet sweep quarterback power. That's next level. That's what the job of the offensive coordinator, to stay 1 week ahead of the defensive coordinator. So I kill one team with a jet sweep, right? Now I'm going to add to my playbook jet sweep, fake jet sweep, quarterback power, quarterback counter off the jet sweep. So it's going to look like the same play, but instead of me handing it, I'm going to pull a guard back away from the jet motion or a tackle, and I'm going to lead Justin up in the hole for a touchdown. You can't beat it. When I see stuff like that on film, I'm encouraged about where we're going. It's in terms of being an offensive football team, right? The offense, I'm encouraged, right? Because that's what you're doing. Now, I didn't care so much for the cute stuff on Sunday, the double throwback pass, but you got to do that when you got fast pursuing teams, right? You got to do certain things. Now, this is what I would have did differently, since we on that, because I like to coach offensive football. What I would have done differently is, instead of me throwing the ball through the air, right, I would have perhaps had a reverse called, some kind of reverse zone read reverse, right? Some kind of reverse off the power play. I would have had a reverse where the ball is not in the air, right? Keep in mind you got a young D. So okay, I'm gonna take a step back and go on a tangent here. This is where I don't understand this staff a little bit. I think a lot of times they forget they have a young football team. So you're asking a team to do a double throwback pass. You're asking a young football team to do a double throwback pass, right? I could probably hear that butt cheeks clenching up when you call that play in the huddle, because they're young. They're going to overthink the play instead of just executing, right? So what do you do as a coach? You help them out and you call the simple reverse where they're just running the ball and handing it off instead of throwing the ball through the air, right? But I'm not going to, again, young players, young coaches, you're going to see stupid stuff. I saw somebody writing Velus Jones Jr. off today. Oh, he can't catch a cold. Okay, stick with that narrative. Young player, young coaches, you're going to see stupid stuff. You're going to see mistakes. You're going to see routine plays missed. But watch this. You know what? Instead of seeing that and having that take, what you should have saw is a 6'2", over 200-pound wide receiver / slot guy who was able to walk past a primary cornerback in the NFL like he was on skates and stacked him. Not only did he blow past him, he stacked him like the dude was on skates. So he got past him and got on top of him where the dude was stacked behind him. And granted, Justin threw a perfect ball, but even if it was any more perfect and hit him in the bread boxes, in the bread basket, Velus was going to hit his head on the goalpost. We look at that's when I talk about being patient, that's what I'm talking about. You can't, it's a young football team, bro. You can't go crazy. And I'm going to tell you another thing that fans don't see, that they won't get out of that. Question for you. Do you think the defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins is going to line up and ignore that play, ignore the ball that Velus Jones Jr. dropped, or is he going to say, oh, crap, they got a guy that can fly, and he will blow past you, and they're going to respect his speed? Answer that in the chat. Do you think Miami's defensive coordinator is going to look at that play on film and say, this fool can't catch? We ain't got to worry about that. We can ignore that for next week's game. We can ignore that because he can't catch. Or do you think Miami's defensive coordinator is going to say, holy crap, they got two guys that can fly. I don't know. I'm going to have to figure out if they line up Darnell Mooney opposite Velus Jones Jr. in a formation. I got to figure out if I'm going to go single high safety or not. I'm just saying. All right. I'm just having fun. We talking football, man. Saquon would say fire hoodie, man. Yeah, man, I love Absolute. By the way, they're not paying me for this, by the way. So, Absolute Victory every day. The Av Company, I love your brand. Hey, I got that Pigs Fly t-shirt. One day I'm probably wear it on show. It's a picture of a pig flying with goggles on. And I just think the t-shirt is so cool. I like wearing it out in public because I think it just depicts my life, right? Everything was stacked against me. I shouldn't have made it where I made it. Anyway, tangent moment, but shameless, free plug for the Av Company. It's called Absolute Victory Every Day. They're not paying me to say this. I love the brand. I have about 3 or 4 hoodies, 3 or 4 t-shirts. Go out there, look them up, man, and buy their products. It's hoodies and t-shirts. It's hats. You know what I'm saying? It's everyday wear, sports wear. You see me wearing a lot of their stuff. KP Baller for Life said there's nothing blue collar about this trade. I don't know what you mean, my guy. I don't know what you mean. Blue collar is, okay, when I think of blue collar, I think Bill, right? When I think of blue collar, I think of building stuff. I think of people that know how to manufacture things. I think of guys that know how to get their hands dirty. And instead of buying, right, you can go out there and buy the souped up classic Chevy or Ford or whatever brand of car you like, or you can roll your sleeves up and you can go out there and build it. You can build it from the ground up. And again, I think fans, NFL fans, football fans, league-wide get too caught up in fantasy football and thinking football is fantasy football. And so we just go out and buy players, right? For long-term sustained success, you can't be out here just, I'm going to buy everything, bro. You got to be like, all right, I got to have a system where I build players and I develop players into my system, because if you buy a player at every position, then you're going to have a salary cap situation similar to we had under the previous regimes. You're going to have Ryan Pace situations, and we're going to be a flash in the pan organization. But if you want to be like Kansas City and you want to compete year in and year out, you want to have long-term sustainable success, you want to be like New England, who always would trade back and get extra picks, and they got all these no-name brand players that come into their system and to play in their system, and they would occasionally go out to get the old over-the-top guy, that's, he's on his way out, Randy Moss in the later part of his career, Fred Taylor at the later part of his career. They'll go get guys like that, and they'll take them over the edge, because guess what? You're not going to have to pay them a ton. You bring them in on a 1-year deal, let them get their little Super Bowl, and send them off on the ticker tape parade, right? So I don't know what to tell you. Michael Everhart says, when I saw Sanborn in the game, I knew something was up. Hey, bro, it's Sanborn season. That's all I got to say about that. All right, man, I've been on here just about an hour. Just want to talk about Roquan a little bit. Again, I got into the film. I got into a little bit of what happened in yesterday's game. Y'all got me started on a little bit of tangent. But I want to jump on here, man. Also, testing some equipment. I would say the test was not so great. Do me a favor, man. Let's try this. Like, subscribe, hit the share button. That's working. By the way, man, Switcher, I love y'all, bro, but y'all didn't have to delete all my stuff. Daggum. I had to really build the show all over again from scratch. There's so much that's not going right on this end. I got extra cameras. It's a lot, bro. I'm gonna get better at this though. I got extra camera angled in here now. That camera's gone dead. So I know I need to keep that plugged in going forward. What else are we screwing up here? Anyway, before we jump out of here, I want y'all to give me y'all Miami predictions. We got Miami at home. All right. We got Miami at home. Where you at, Swift? He said the link won't let you in, bro. You should have been told me that. Let me see. Let me try it again, Swift. Maybe it's because I got these extra features on. Let's see. And you know what else happened? When I went to send you the link, my audio cut out where I could hear the feedback or the playback. So something happened with that. So I tried to send you the link again, Swift. And let me see. Testing 1, 2. I don't know, man. This is acting funky. You can try the link I just sent, Swift. I don't want to jump out of here before I get a chance to hear from you, my guy. But while we waiting to see if Swift can join us, let me do this. The Miami situation. The Miami game this week is at home. I actually be in the city this weekend for a wedding. I was starting to try to go to the game, but wifey wasn't having it, so I'll be in Oak Brook watching it somewhere. What's the weather for this weekend? Because I think these Miami boys.
That one worked.
Uh-oh. We have lift off. Let's go. My guy Swift in the building. That's what's up, man. Let me see what I can do here, Swift. Boom, boom. Swift, what you think, man?
Yo, it was that link, man. That new link worked perfect, man. How do I sound? Am I too loud?
You sound great. I actually can hear you. So I'm going to tell you what was happening before I sent you the first link. Mm-hmm. And it fixed something, because what was happening was I would get feedback and it would cause me to have to pause. But now you golden with the headset, bro. I hear you like you sitting right next to me, man.
Nice.
What's up with the trade, bro? How you feel about the trade, bro?
It surprised me. It caught me off guard. I literally So this is the funny part, right? I recorded a video this morning because the rumors were a little rampant. Like these rumors about Roquan to the Ravens, they were going crazy all morning. So I was like, I got to dig into it. And to me, I didn't think it was going to happen because you look at the Ravens roster, they had 2 million in cap space. They have the same situation going on with Roquan, right? Or not Roquan, with Lamar right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because he also is his own agent trying to be the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. And then you got Roquan also without an agent trying to be the biggest linebacker in history on a team with cap problems. I don't see how they get it done, man. It's going to be tough. But to me, it's a win-win. I mean, it's a trade where it's not horrible for the Ravens. It's a 2nd and 5th round pick, and they're a team that is, they're built to win this year. So
They're
adding
competing.
a linebacker like Roquan is only going to make them better. It's not going to hurt them for their playoff run. Problem is, what is it going to do long term? Can they re-sign Roquan, or did they send a 2nd and 5th round pick to rent him for a year? If they
Right.
don't re-sign him and they don't win the Super Bowl, that's a big L.
That's a big L.
Yup.
Now, conversely, what's the drawback for us? What did we lose?
I mean, potentially one of the best linebackers in the league. The only 1st round pick other than Justin Fields that we've hit on in the last 10 years.
Right.
That's part of the problem with just the talent. The thing is, though, I mean, linebackers, they don't have the value in the NFL that they did before.
Right.
They just, teams out there they're not knocking off the door for weak side linebackers, will linebackers. The Colts got it done with Darius Leonard, who turned in, I mean, he was a good player in college, but they turned him into a superstar in that position. And that's kind of what this position is built for, is it funnels the defense to this player, It funnels the defense to the will linebacker to where it allows him to come clean up and make plays.
Right.
So, I mean, it's what they're supposed to do in this system. I think what we're going to do is put Nicholas Morrow over there at the will now. And he's played, I've showed it in my All-22 a couple times this year, but he's played as good or better than Roquan at times. He hasn't made as many impact plays. But when you're talking about staying in your gap in the run defense and then shedding a block and making a play on a running back, I've seen Morrow do that so many times this year. Whereas Roquan, when he gets down there and he runs into a blocker, he's gone. He's washed. Like that's it for Roquan in a play. He can make those open field plays because he's got all that speed, but he can't do it when he has to take on a blocker. And that was my biggest worry with him.
Yeah. How do you? I was talking about this earlier. I really, the Green Bay game, I was really not happy with. I wasn't really happy with the stunts and stuff, the slants and stuff I saw Allen Williams doing with the defensive line to try and create some disruption. But I think it was even worse versus Dallas. I'm looking at all the run plays. I did all the run plays today, just looking at it. I was like, I want to see where the problem was. And he was doing a lot of that slanting and stunting and stuff to try to create some penetration, was getting a defensive lineman's shoulders turns to the sideline. That's creating those open gates, if you will, for guys to fly on running backs. And I'm like, why are you not putting guys in the A gaps and creating linebackers that way? Like, you remember the old Bears defense? Remember Briggs and Urlacher would line up in the A gap, right?
Yeah.
And they would either fake like they're blitzing, or they would actually come.
Would usually backtrack, yeah.
Yeah, that was I'm gonna tell you, this is actually a pretty good analysis. This is a great analysis, because I think NFL football is taking a step back about 10 years, and it's being played that way now. Like the throwing the ball all over the yard stuff is not happening the way it used to, and that's the answer. When your guys up front aren't getting the gap penetration like that, you put those guys in there. Remember, that was a time where Guys were running the ball 35, 40 times a game. You put those guys in a gap, you create that penetration, or you get them thinking, hey, he's in the gap, let me change the play, and you start playing the chess match a little bit. I just thought they were bad with the adjustments, terrible. And I felt
I'm waiting for the all 22 on that. And to me, I felt like we got out schemed. A lot of it was scheme. I mean, they came out similar to what we did versus the Patriots. They were really prepared for what we do, and they punched us in the mouth. And I think we did answer a couple times. Our biggest problem, we had a couple of drives there where they had, second and short because they picked up big plays on first down. And we came up with big stops on second and short and even caused them to lose yardage. Nicholas Morrow had a stop like that. We had a couple of those. And then they're in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, and they easily pick up the first down. And we just couldn't. They were 9 for 11 on 3rd down conversions. So, I mean, as much as I wanted to say our defense just sucked, I mean, it was another one of those we couldn't get off the field.
Yeah.
I mean, we got them in a lot of 3rd down positions, but then we'd get to 3rd down, and even on a 3rd and 2, we gave up a 50-yard touchdown run to Tony Pollard on 3rd down. Like,
it was.
On a 3rd and 2.
What was crazy about that play? It was a basic power play.
Yep,
it was a basic power play.
It was just gap power.
He out-ussed us.
Also, they had 2 plays where Dak Prescott picks up 20-plus yards on quarterback sneaks. Like, I mean, you can't have stuff like that happen, man. That's just wild.
Yeah, we got to get back to and how you fix that coaching-wise. You get back to the basics. The first drive, did Dominic Robinson start?
Yep.
I thought so.
A lot. I think they played pretty much the same amount of snaps, but
the first drive, I think he was in the game pretty much every play on the first drive. And poor kid, the kid got owned. He got
ate up on the Dak Prescott touchdown run. He didn't contain the edge. He
got
a solid play. I mean, you got a rookie defensive end in there making his first career start. That's one of the reasons I didn't want D-Rob to start, and I told people that as excited I am about his potential. When a guy's best trait is pass rushing, you keep him as a 3rd down pass rusher his first year and let him do what he's comfortable with. When you put him into the game, it's the same thing that happened after we went to the Super Bowl with Mark Anderson that year. We had Adewale Ogunleye and Alex Brown as our defensive ends. Studs, right? Mark Anderson was coming in as a 3rd down pass rush specialist and got 12.5 sacks as a rookie. Mm-hmm. Next year, coach is like, we got to start this guy. Why do we have to start him?
Right.
And then we got rid of Adewale, and we started Mark Anderson, and teams ran on him all year long. He had 2.5 sacks that year. Like, it's what happens. You have to be able to set the edge before you can rush the passer. So
that's what I was talking about earlier, right? There's certain things. I love this coaching staff, so I'm not beating them. I'm not piling on to them. I love the regime. I love the staff. But just like our players, the staff have young coach moments, right? I felt like as great as game as Getsy called yesterday, right? The last 2 weeks, he still had young coach moments, right? And I'll give you an example. The special teams coordinator had a young coach moment, right? Special teams coordinator has a young coach moment because Velus Jones Jr. is back, right? He's back. He's back off injury. So let me throw him on special teams. He's a rookie. Let me throw him on special teams to field punts, right? And he hasn't had any NFL touches. Easy layups, right? Jet sweeps, here you go. Let me show you what it's like in the NFL to field the football. It's like in basketball, right? You know what I'm saying? Touches gets you a feel for the game, right? All the nerves go away when you just realize, okay, this is the NFL, but it's the same game I've been playing my whole life. I think that's one of the things that Velus is dealing with. But the coaches got to protect him from that. Like, instead of you getting all excited about you having this new toy, you say, hold on a second, man. This is a rookie, NFL. Ain't had no touches. I'm not putting this guy back there to field punts. I'm going to line him up in the slot. I'm going to call a jet sweep. I'm going to give him as many jet sweeps as possible, right? I'm throwing him a quick hitch, or a curl or something like that to just get them touches, get them like feeling like I belong, and then I'll move to the more advanced stuff. Getsy's had
kind of what they were doing. I mean, we saw a little bit more of that this week. He had 3 touches, 2 rushes, and one little screen pass that went. But I think they thought maybe he was more comfortable getting those touches in the return game.
Yeah, but I like the fact that they got the touches. We got the touches now, but now I'm finna send you on the fly or go route because you got those touches. But I still think that has something to do with, the ball. Even Fu said it, bro. The ball it was a perfectly thrown ball. It hit his hand, so I'm not piling on him for that. But it's still rookie moments. Like it's still the moment can't be. The moment is still like too big for them. And even that goes beyond just the players. The coaches have moments where the moment is too big for them as coach. I feel like Luke, I mentioned this earlier. I know I got a young team, and they have moments where they have moments in the game where the game is too big for them, and you throw a double throwback pass. No, run the reverse. Run the handoff reverse. Not the double throwback pass. The handoff reverse. Because guess what? A basic pass, what do they say? 3 bad things can happen, or 2 bad things can happen in a basic pass play. Interception, catch, fumble, or something like that. Make it easier. Call a double reverse or the reverse to your speedster, and you know what I'm saying? Get them the ball a different way. I just cringed at that play because we got guys that don't know when to touch guys when they're down.
Yeah. You watched the Bengals game? I just put it up on the other screen just now. Actually, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
0-0 still. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm finna get up there and get to it in a minute, man. But I'm glad to have you back on, man.
Man, it was good. I literally meant to ask you earlier if you were going to do a show tonight, and then I saw you get on. I was like, oh damn, he is.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell
something that fans are really. I think a lot of fans are down. I had more than a few comments today of people just saying I'm done or I'm out. This team's just they got no talent now, and it's like a linebacker is still a linebacker. I know as Chicago Bear fans, we have this great history of linebackers with Urlacher and Briggs and Singletary. It goes all the way back, Butkus, but Roquan is just an off-ball linebacker in an NFL where safeties and corners and defensive ends, those are where you put your money in defense. By getting value for Roquan and not putting a bunch of money into his contract, you just gave this team more flexibility for how they build.
So when we go get a stud pass rusher or a stud 3 technique,
yep.
In this draft,
in free agency, yeah.
Or in free agency,
a lot of money in this.
Then what you gonna say? We go get a stud wide receiver, that we don't overpay. That's not a locker room clown. What you gonna say? That when I started talking about being patient, that's what I'm talking about, man. I'd really just I get it. I get the frustration and all that stuff, but the instant gratification, or again, the new team, 50% over 50% roster turnover, whatever. New offense, new scheme, new system on both sides of the ball, new coach, new GM. And what was the realistic expectation? That we were going to come out and just roll over teams?
I think the biggest misconception is not about winning. It's that a lot of fans are excited about Justin Fields, right? They do realize his potential. And I think the misconception came from when we didn't draft a big-time wide receiver,
right? That
they thought, okay, this GM doesn't believe in Justin Fields. Either that or, well, he's got no help, so we can't evaluate him. And this year is all about evaluating Justin Fields. But considering we can still evaluate him even without those big-time wide receivers. And I've been trying to say that all along, and we've seen it.
What's a better evaluation? With him having guys that can make up for his deficiencies, or him having guys that he has to make look good?
I mean, they might look better. He might put up more stats if he came out and had. And this was a problem with Mitch when Mitch came out and had A-Rob, was he had one weapon on that offense, right? And what it did, and A-Rob was better then than he is now. But
Right.
after he's had too many injuries and gotten old, he's just not that guy anymore. But Mitch would just lock on to A-Rob, and he wouldn't read defenses. He had
Right.
one guy and go. Justin
Right.
Fields is learning to read the entire field. If we had, just imagine if we had one receiver out there that was a stud, we had a DK Metcalf. What would Fields do every play? When
Right.
he got in trouble, he would just throw it up to DK,
Right.
That's
And I feel like some of that
some of these receivers do.
Yeah, I feel like some of that's coming too. It's still like, so I think I made the comment on Twitter today, bro. I said give it the first leak that I called out was week 8 to 12. There'll be a lull between weeks 12 and 14, which is 2 weeks where it just looked like, okay, we hit a wall, and then weeks 14 to 18, all the hype riding into next season, the off season, with the salary cap and the draft picks. Everybody's going to be talking about the Bears in the off season. One, because of the salary cap situation, all the draft picks, but we'll end the season competing, right? So it's starting to happen.
Building momentum towards next season.
Momentum coming. So N'Keal Harry, right, is finding his touch and his rhythm and timing with Justin. And just like that, Justin has a bigger, wider body on the field that
And you saw it
in his head, he's saying, I just got to put it in the vicinity.
There it is. he's still not. I mean, he's not an established number one wide receiver that most of these teams have. I mean, a lot of these guys just get bailed out, and
Right.
you're seeing it in Arizona with Kyler Murray. Is he gets in trouble, he just throws the ball to DeAndre
D-Hop.
Hopkins, and
Yep.
he does it 14 times a game. And if you want to take one thing about it, is look at Rodgers, how much he's struggled when you took away that big time receiver Devontae Adams. And sometimes it's better for a quarterback to learn the game this way without having that guy to rely on, and then you add more talent around him, and he already knows how to read the field. So then once he has a guy wide open, it's just easy money. It's second nature, it's muscle
Right.
memory. That guy's open. I went through my reads. He's wide open. I'm going to throw it. And it gets easier for him as it goes along, as the game slows down.
That's what's up, man. Man, I appreciate you, Swift. Always tune into the videos. We back, buddy. We got the other camera angle that died on me today. I got to renew my graphics. Have Ville on Sunday. I'll be working on renewing all these graphics this weekend to get the system down, because I got more crap to manage now. So, but loving the new digs, man. Again, shout out to the wife, man, for hooking me up, and y'all gonna see Swift. We gonna be out here, man. We gonna be out here more. Catch us on Sundays. So I did 30 minutes back this past Sunday to get closer to game time, and I felt pretty good about it. So I like that time slot. So we'll play with it. So I'll catch y'all on Sunday. I might be on again another time this weekend, because I really want to take a look at these all 22s and talk about it. But until then, man, y'all bear down, bro. And listen, keep your chin up, bro. We gonna be all right. Everything's okay. We gonna be all right, man. Just relax. All right, bear down, Bear fans. We'll talk soon. All right, peace.
Bear down.
All right. Bro. Man, this thing will not let me be great.